But let's talk about, speaking of terrible families and abusers, we have this story about Hunter Biden. Oh, you ready for conspiracy theories, huh?
That aren't conspiracy theories anymore because we waited a couple months.
Yep. Not even a couple months, it's been a week.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden.
Look
at this. Hunter Biden helped secure funds for U.S. Biolab contractor in Ukraine.
Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
Russia's assertion that Biden's son Hunter was financing biological laboratories in Ukraine was based on truth. Now, hold on there a minute. Bioweapons, I don't know anything about. And that's where the fact checkers keep coming in. Because instead of saying biolabs, which we know exist now because Victoria Nuland basically said they do, you say that and the media comes out and says, they talked about bioweapons labs. Like, no. These are biothreat reduction labs. The U.S. is trying to stop the threat of biological weapons. And I got to be honest, it actually makes sense. These programs, the funding, it all makes sense that they're doing research, not on weapons, but they're doing research on pathogens for the sake of being able to identify and protect against, considering they're right next to Russia. I think that makes sense. You can look at it more from a more malicious or nefarious angle and say, no, I don't trust the U.S. They're probably doing this. Well, we still don't have any evidence.
Yeah, I guess the question is, what kind of research do we know they're doing there? Is gain of function research occurring?
But we don't know. We
don't know anything.
Right. Check it out. They say a trove of emails on Hunter Biden's infamous laptop found that he played a role in helping a California defense contractor analyze killer diseases and bioweapons in Ukraine. Now, that is a bold statement. I'm going to push back a little bit and say, based on what I've read from this, I still don't see bioweapons. But far be it from me to call the New York Post, who is NewsGuard certified, wrong. If they're saying the emails show Hunter Biden did this, and there are other outlets reporting the same thing, then I can only say, I don't know. Look, fact checkers, take it up with the New York Post. I'm just gonna say, you know what? It must be a conspiracy. It's all fake news. So, the New York Post and their conspiracy theories. Why would they go and report that? The funny thing is, the New York Post reported about Hunter Biden's laptop. Yep. What did they say? Russian disinformation. Yep. Then we get the Biolab story. What does the media say? Russian disinformation. Yep. You give it a week. What do you find? It's all true.
And it's, as soon as we first heard that phrase, I joked, why would we ever believe these people when they call something Russian disinformation? That's what they call like everything that turns out to be true. And also, why would we believe them when they said anything about a biological weapons lab being fake news?
But it's both sides of the political aisle now. It's not just the Democrats saying Russian disinformation. For example, just last week, Congressman Dan Crenshaw was on Fox and Friends, and Rachel Campos Duffy was kind of pushing him back, saying, hey, some Republicans are concerned about, just jumping on the Ukraine, bandwagon and giving them everything they want because we're worried about pushing Russia closer to China, whatever. Crenshaw goes, well, we're not when they say you're funding neo-Nazis, that's a lie. It's totally fake news. And then he goes and says the biolabs, when you say the biolabs, you're playing into Putin's hands, you're pushing Russian disinformation. And this is a Republican member of Congress. And obviously this came out 2 days ago. It's been vindicated, and he has said nothing. These people say nothing. They lie, and then when they get caught lying, they never apologize. They never correct the record. In fact, they double down. And so it's dangerous that we're playing with a nuclear power like this. And I don't know, are these people working to protect the Biden family? Are they not wanting this information to actually become public? But I don't know.
The weirdest thing about this is that we have confirmation from Victoria Nuland testifying before the Senate there are biological research facilities in Ukraine, or biolabs for short. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, Tulsi Gabbard, Tucker, we're not talking about weapons. Now, truth be told, I haven't heard every single thing Tucker said, but Tulsi, she came out and she's like, I never said weapons. There's biolabs there, and we're like, Russia might get them. It's a bad thing. Like, what's going on there? We should know.
So they always move the word. So after the 2020 election, it went from there's no voter fraud to there's no widespread voter fraud, right? They always move the word. They always try to change the narrative, and they play a narrative game, and they can because they have big tech on their side, and they have every mainstream media publication on their side, and so they can move whatever hell word they want just to say that we're wrong.
But I'm just what's confusing to me is that when you wait a week, the story's proven true. So how are there people who still believe this? Like, a story breaks, you got to go, I'm going to wait a week. Then you go, oh, that's what happened, huh? Mm-hmm. But there are people, like Bill Burr, when he was talking to Joe Rogan and said, I just turn the TV on once every 2 weeks and do what they tell me.
Once every 2 weeks, I turn it on. I do whatever they say. Hey, look at that.
He's like, Joe, you're not a doctor. You know what you're talking about, masks.
Why did he become Fauci?
It's like younger Fauci,
Yeah. What are you talking about over there?
Talk about masks.
But no, I think that maybe I'm being a little optimistic here, but the number of people believing them are fewer and fewer with each passing day.
Let's ramp it up. We got the story from the Wall Street Journal. Prosecutors advance tax probe of Hunter Biden. Grand jury heard witness in February about past drug use, spending habits of president's son. Let's talk about Ukraine. Hunter Biden was helping secure funding for this contractor. It was reported by several outlets, notably the Daily Mail, that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden shared bank accounts. This was back, I think, in September they reported this. So here you have Joe Biden, whose son is on the board of an energy company where he doesn't have any experience or speak the language. There's concerns about an investigation of the founder of that company, Michael Zlochevsky. And then there's some requests, some emails go to Hunter about like, we got to deal with this. Then Joe Biden flies out and says, if you don't fire the prosecutor, then you're not getting the $1 billion loan guarantee. Sounds an awful lot to me like Joe Biden uses his son as a proxy for corrupt dealings in these countries. And you know what? I feel bad for Hunter. We keep ragging on Hunter.
Yeah.
He's just a fall guy for Biden, right?
Yeah.
Joe Biden, it seems like he says to his son, you go work the private company, you get the salary. I can set these deals up because I'm the vice president. We'll share bank accounts, you pay my bills, and we'll have one guy for all of our taxes. That's what they were doing. It's been reported, I should say.
The shared bank accounts thing is a unbelievably gigantic red flag to the point where you might even
don't you still share your bank account with your dad?
Yeah, no, believe it or
I
not.
don't know. No. But
if I was smoking Parmesan cheese, maybe I would have to.
Yeah.
For people at this income level, I don't know how they shared a bank account.
Yeah.
Because the taxes must have been a nightmare. How would you prove to the IRS that this purchase is like, oh, well, this one wasn't Joe, this was Hunter? Because people need to understand, you can't just give people money. You cannot do that. You're a wealthy person making $83,000 a month, like Hunter Biden. He cannot just hand 40 grand to his dad. It's not legal. You'd have to do tax filing for like gift taxes and stuff like that. So that's a huge red flag. I mean, I'm just confused by what their system was, to be honest.
And it's also important to know that it wasn't just Hunter, and Beau Biden was also involved in the family corruption, and nobody wants to talk about that because obviously, he passed away, and that's tragic and that's sad. But Beau Biden ran a foundation, and it just came out. But it just came out in a new report that he was in charge of the foundation. They raised like $4.9 million. Only $500,000 of that actually went to the operating costs, and the rest of the $4.5 million went to paying salaries of board members and lobbyists and consultants. And so it's a whole family corruption. It's a disgusting family that's done nothing for our country but used it to get rich.
Do I really have to clarify that saying I feel bad for Hunter was a joke?
No, I mean, look,
like pointing out that his dad's corrupt and
Come on,
pushing all this. Like, no, Hunter Biden's a bad guy.
To be fair, given the way his dad acts around young children, I am not convinced terrible things didn't happen to Hunter Biden. So I do feel bad for him on that front. Just saying.
I mean, and he's also a crackhead.
Yeah,
we got to keep that in mind.
I feel kind of bad.
Crackheads make bad decisions.
They sure do.
It's true, though.
forget
You know,
their
look.
laptops.
And with all due respect to people suffering from addiction who need help, they do make bad decisions,
Yeah.
regardless
Yes,
of
that's
whether or not you want to have sympathy for him or not.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden, man, it's really fascinating. You see these people of great power, but they just can't control themselves.
Yeah.
Epstein.
Well, I mean, that's why they seek power. People who can't control themselves try to control the entire world to compensate for it.
Unfortunately, I think in politics, I talk about this a lot. I wasn't a perfect grade point average student in high school. I was a high school student that partook.
You yelled gay in the high school.
I yelled gay. Yeah. I tweeted gay. I was a rebellious high school student. But I think a lot of the folks that end up getting into Washington D.C. were the folks that never were really popular in school. Were never, they were like the really great students. They didn't really have a lot of fun, and for the first time in their lives, they get into power. They feel kind of cool, and then they take off, years and years of misery and anger, and then they do bad things with it. And so a lot of sick people up in Washington because of that, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Biden was actually very popular in high school. He was a very good football player. It led to him getting the nickname Hands. People called him Hands.
I mean, he's got that nickname.
No, do you remember there was this whole story? I think it was like a children's thing, but they said that Joe Biden's nickname in high school was Hands because he was so good at football. He was really good at catching them, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I also heard that he was very popular with the kids in the pool, and he's got hairy legs.
I've heard that. I've heard that too.
Can you believe that story when he was like, "I'd be in the pool and the kids would grab my leg hairs"? Like, what are you talking about?
81 million people voted for that.
Oh gosh.
Dude, I always tell this story of the people I knew who were like posting on social media, like, I did my part voting for Joe Biden. Did you? And I'm like, oh, man. If only you watched True and Anana Shabbat of Pressure and Batacaf Care, maybe. But these people just, they just, I don't know where they get their information from. They're watching CNN all day, I guess, because CNN doesn't have any ratings.
No, they get it from Twitter. Unfortunately, most of these people get it from Twitter,
and the podcasts,
and Twitter recognizes that, and that's why they started to rig the game, and they promote. It's stuff like, remember when COVID happened, and then they had the trending tab and the news tab, and then they created a whole separate COVID-19 tab. They're basically doing the same thing for Ukraine now. They're just controlling the narrative. They're banking on people not doing their research, and Twitter has become the thought box for almost half the country, if not more now.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.